Everyone, how are you? Oh, it's so nice to be together with you again. So, I wanted to talk to you about something today and read you a book and do some other things. And I want to hold up some things and see if you can guess what we want to talk about today. Can you tell what those are? You're absolutely right, they're animals. Do you know what kind of animals those are? I think this is my favorite. Which is yours? I heard someone say lion. You're right. This is a lion. He has a big mane. He has a long tail. You can see his mouth, and there are some teeth in it. He is very cool. The king of the jungle. How about this one? Do you know what this is? A zebra. You're absolutely right. They're white, and they have black stripes. And that's what I want to read a story to you about today. So let me see what we have here. This is a character that you probably have read a lot of stories about. He's one of my favorites, and it is Curious George. Now, if you've read stories about Curious George, what do you know about him? He's a monkey. You're absolutely right. Curious. It sounds like he likes to check things out. He's curious. And does he get into trouble? Sometimes. He definitely does. Is anyone else in the stories with Curious George? Oh, who said the man with the yellow hat? You're right. He's usually with George when they go on their adventures. I wonder if he'll be in this story too. This book is called Curious George Feeds the Animals. So it looks like, where do you think they are? A zoo? Yep, you're absolutely right. Let's see what happens. Here we go. This is George. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day George went to the zoo with his friend the man with the yellow hat. A new rainforest exhibit was opening and they wanted to be the first ones inside. Oh boy, it's fun to go to the zoo, isn't it? See all the animals? But when they got to the new exhibit, the doors were closed. We'll have to come back later, George the man said. Why don't we visit the other animals while we wait? That's a good idea. I wonder what animals they'll see. Do you have any ideas? First, they stopped to watch a zookeeper feed the seals. When he tossed little fish in the air, the seals jumped up to catch them. Then they barked for more. Ow, ow, ow! It looked like fun to feed the animals. Do you see them there looking at the seals? And they're going to catch the fish. It looks like George is very excited over here, doesn't it? That looks like a lot of fun. Would you like something to eat too, George? Asked the man with the yellow hat, and he bought a snack for them to share. When they stopped to see the crocodile, George remembered how the zookeeper had fed fish to the seals. He was curious. Uh-oh, do you think he's going to get into trouble? Maybe. Would the crocodile like something to eat? Let's look at the pictures here. So here they are buying their snacks. Do you know what kind of snacks they got? It's right there. Peanuts. Do you know what that spells? Peanuts. Do you like peanuts? I bet George and the man with the yellow hat do. And then they went to visit the crocodile, and George was wondering if the crocodile would like peanuts. What do you think? Do crocodiles eat peanuts? I don't know. George tossed him a treat, and the crocodile snapped it in the air. Look at that. That's a good catch, too. Look how far he threw it. So the crocodile ate the peanut. Next, they visited the koalas. George thought the koalas were cute. Here was a friendly one. She was curious too. She wanted to see what George was eating, so he held out his hand to share. Look at that. So he gave it to the koala. Do you see the man with the yellow hat? Is he nearby? Yep, he's over here. He's back by the peanut stand. Do you think George should be feeding the animals peanuts? What do you think? I guess we'll find out. George shared his treats with an elephant and a baby kangaroo. Oh boy. So they had some peanuts too. Wow. And I see a man here. He's probably a worker there. And he's looking at the animals and looking at the peanuts. George was making lots of new friends at the zoo. The lion was already eating, but the hippopotamus tried a snack. Next, he gave a treat to an ostrich. Wow, look at that. Here's the lion. He's eating some meat. That's what lions eat. Here's the kangaroo and the hippopotamus over there. Do you see? And there are more men from the zoo in the blue coats. It looks like they're trying to figure out where all the peanuts are. Do you see they're all on the ground here? Looks like George has dropped a bunch of them. I'm thinking maybe he shouldn't be feeding the animals peanuts, but we'll find out. Then George saw the giraffes. What fun to feed a giraffe! Giraffes usually have their heads high up in the trees, but George could see these giraffes would be easy to feed. Look at that. You see them there? Looks like their enclosure is down below and just their heads are popping up. That's funny. Do you think that they'll like the peanuts? I'm not sure. But as soon as he held out his hand, a zookeeper came running. The zookeeper looked angry. Was he angry at George? George didn't know, and he didn't want to stay to find out. He slipped away. Uh-oh. So I think George is in trouble. Let's see where he goes. And the giraffes were happy to help. So George tried to get away, and look, he jumped onto the giraffes like they were a slide. Do you think that's a good idea? That's not something we would do. That's silly. But where did George go? Look at this. Can you see George? George is hiding. Do you see? There's a sign over here with monkeys, and I wonder if one of them is George. Let's find out. He was trying his best to hide, but little monkeys can't stay still for very long. When George wiggled, the zookeeper was waiting. "I see you," he said. Just then another zookeeper hurried by. "Come quick," she yelled. "Someone saw the parrot." The first zookeeper led George to a bench. I wonder what's going to happen with the parrot. "The parrot from our new exhibit escaped, and I must help find it," he explained. He told George to wait for him there, and before he left he said, "Don't you know you're not supposed to feed the animals? The wrong food can make them sick." Oh, George felt awful. He didn't know he was not supposed to feed the animals. He didn't want to make them sick. George was looking at the treat in his hand when all of a sudden, oh my goodness. So it turns out that George wasn't supposed to feed the animals, because if you feed them the wrong food, they can get sick. I wonder what all of a sudden he saw. A big bird swooped down and snatched it right up. Now George knew he wasn't supposed to feed the animals, but this one had helped itself. He didn't feed it. He just swooped down. You know where else that happens? Sometimes when you're on the beach, have you ever been there with the seagulls? Sometimes they come down and try and swoop and get food too. A zookeeper passing by was happy to see George. "You found the parrot," she said. "We've been looking for this bird all day." When she saw George's snack, she said, "This isn't the best thing to feed a parrot, but a little won't hurt. Would you like to help me put him back where he belongs?" George was glad to help after all the trouble he had caused, and together they went back to the exhibit. Oh, what a nice lady. She's going to let George help. "There's our problem," the zookeeper said, pointing to a hole in the netting. As the zookeepers discussed how to fix it, George had an idea. What do you think his idea is? I don't know. Do you see that up here the netting is broken? Do you think his idea has something to do with that, maybe? He climbed up like only a monkey can, and when he reached the hole, he tied the netting back together. Meanwhile, the first zookeeper returned. "Catch that naughty monkey," he yelled. "He was feeding the animals." But that little monkey found the parrot," another zookeeper told him. "And look, he fixed the netting. Now we can open the exhibit." When George came down, all the zookeepers cheered. Look at that. Oh, he was in trouble, but then he helped them, and they were so happy and thankful. Finally, the celebration began, and the doors were opened. The man with the yellow hat was there, and he and George got to be the first ones inside. As George walked in, the zookeepers thanked him for all his help. "Please visit us any time," they said. George couldn't wait to come back and see his friends, but next time he'd remember that unless you're a zookeeper, oh look, that looks like a fun exhibit. So he remembered the next time he comes that he would not do something. Do you know what that is from the story? I bet you do. Let's look and see. Do not feed the animals, right? So next time he knows better because he doesn't want to make the animals sick. At some zoos, you can feed the animals. You can go and buy special animal food. It's okay to feed them there. But when you see signs that say don't feed the animals, you shouldn't do it. So I wanted to teach you something. It's not really a song. It's something that I used to do with my class a long time ago. It is kind of like a poem, and it's kind of fun. It goes, "We're going to the zoo, zoo, zoo. How about you, you, you? We're gonna see," and then we'd say an animal and make the noise. So let's try it. And what kind of animal should I try first? What do you think? Oh, a lion is a good idea. Let's try that. Here we go. "We're going to the zoo, zoo, zoo. How about you, you, you? We're gonna see a lion. Roar!" Did you roar? Did you do it loud? Good idea. That was awesome. All right, let's try another one. "We're going to the zoo, zoo, zoo. How about you, you, you? We're gonna see an elephant. Did you make an elephant sound? And you used the trunk? That's what elephants have. One last one. You can go on with all the animals you can think of, but I have one more that I can think of. Are you ready? "We're going to the zoo, zoo, zoo. How about you, you, you? We're gonna see a monkey. Woo, 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 woo." Did you do monkey sounds? And did you do a monkey? Sometimes they scratch and they're silly like that. Did you do that? Very cool. You can think of some other animals to do. And you know what you could do today with your brothers and sisters and moms and dads is maybe you can play some animal charades. Charades are when you don't make any sounds at all. You act something out. So let me see. What could I do? Oh, let me see if you can get this animal. This is kind of hard, but let me see just by what I do if you can guess. Are you ready? Here we go. My hands are out. I'm doing this. That was a hard one to guess. Did anyone guess penguin? That's what I was trying to do. If I wanted to do an elephant, what would you do to act out an elephant? Yeah, maybe you would do this, no sound, but for the trunk, that would be a good one too. So maybe you can play charades, animal charades with your family today. Hey, I have loved spending time with you. I hope you have a great day. I love you, I miss you, and I can't wait until we see each other again. Bye.